Hello everyone, let's talk about exponents. So remember, if we got an exponential expression, like 5 to the 8th, this 5 represents the base and the 8 represents the exponent. And 5 to the 8th, what that's saying is repeated multiplication. I'm going to take 5 times itself 8 times. Okay? So 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, so on and so forth. So, exponent rules. Let's go through these, make sure we understand them. Product rule. So if I have 2 to the 3rd times 2 to the 5th, they have to have the same base. And what I can do is say I'm going to take 2 to the 8th. I'm taking 2 to the 3rd times 2 to the 5th. So in total, I'm multiplying 2 by itself 8 times. So what do? We add the exponents. Add the exponents. 10 to the quotient rule. So if I'm dividing the same base, like 10 to the 7th divided by 10 to the 3rd, that's going to be 10 to the 4th. I'm going to subtract the exponents. Powers of powers. So if I'm taking like 7 to the 2nd and I'm taking that whole thing to the 10th, in total it's going to be 7 to the 20th. I'm going to multiply. All right, power of products. This is when I can distribute that exponent because it's in that product. So I'm going to take 3 to the 3rd, m to the 3rd. So 3 to the 3rd, if you wanted to simplify this to 27 m to the 3rd, you could. All right, so this is distributing. Same idea when you're taking a quotient all raised to a power. You can distribute that exponent of 2 to the numerator and the denominator. And if you simplify that, you get 49 over x squared. So again, using the distributive property, you can distribute that exponent. Zero exponents, x to the 0 or anything raised to the 0 is just 1. Anything raised to 0 is 1. Okay? Now, it might be important to note in this that x cannot equal 0. So 0 raised to the 0, that's an issue that we'll get into later in this course or in future courses, okay? So you can't take 0 to the 0. And then for negative exponents, we don't want negative exponents. That's a big no-no. So if we have 3 to the negative 2nd, in order to make that exponent positive, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. So 3 to the negative 2nd, that's all you could say like in the numerator. So if I flipped it, I got to throw it down to the denominator. And when I do that, that's going to create a positive exponent because it was negative. So if you wanted to simplify that to 1/9, you could. All right, so with negative exponents, you flip it. Okay, you throw it either, if it's negative on the denominator, you throw it on the top, the numerator. If it's negative on the numerator, you throw it on the bottom, and that makes it positive. All right, now leave it as fractions, so no decimals. All right, we still want numerical answer either as a fraction or if it gets flipped to the numerator just as a number. All right, notice none of these are fractions. Okay? So these last two, anything raised to the 0, like if you wanted to look at another example real quick, like if you have negative 2 to the 0, that would be 1. But if you have negative 2 to the 0, that 0 is being applied to the 2 only, so that would be 1, but you still got that negative chilling out front, so that would be negative 1. All right, if you have like an expression like a minus 3 raised to the 0, since all of a minus 3 is being raised to the 0, that would be 1 as well. Okay, so first video is just going through those rules again. Make sure you understand them because in the next video we'll be putting those rules into practice. If you have any questions, let me know, but tune into the next video for us to go through some examples.